Hello and welcome to week 16 of the Ray of Hope crochet along, and this week we're making the drop stitch. You can have fun with this stitch with all the different colours you can make, but it's based on the Mosaic technique where you double crochet into a stitch 2 rows below and use front loops and back loops. So how do we make it? So this week we're using 3.5mm hook, and we're going to start with a foundation chain of 80. Okay, so for row 1, in the third chain from your hook, you're going to make a single crochet. So your turning chain counts as your first single crochet of the row, and you're just going to single crochet in every stitch across. So including that turning chain, you're going to have 79 stitches in row 1, and they're all just single crochet. Okay, so I shall get to the end of this row and then I'll show you what we're doing for row 2. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 1, and now we're going to carry on with the same colour. So we're going to turn, chain 1 and make a single crochet in both loops in your first stitch. Okay. So for this row, your first and last stitch, so stitch 1 and 79, are both made through both loops of the stitch. All the rest of the stitches in this row are made in the front loop only. So in the front loop only, make a single crochet in every stitch across, except for the very first and very last stitch. So just get into that front loop and single crochet across. Okay, so I shall do that and I shall come back at the end of the row. Okay, so at the end of row 2, and that final single crochet is made through both loops. Okay, so I'm also going to change colour now. So I'm bringing this new colour in, just join through both those loops there. I'm going to turn and chain 1. So in your first stitch you're going to make a single crochet. Just mark that in. Okay, so your next stitch is going to be a double crochet, but you're going to double crochet in the front loop down here. Okay, so it's the front loop in row 1. I'm just going to go get in there, yarn over and double crochet. You can see it's pulling that loop up, and that will settle down. Okay, so your next stitch is a single crochet in the back loop. In there. So we're going to get this pattern of ridges and drop stitches. And the next one is a double crochet through the front loop. So that's the pattern of this whole row. You double crochet in the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below, so it's the front loop of row 1, and your next stitch is a single crochet in the back loop. So you're going to alternate between front loops and back loops, double crochet and single crochet along the entire row. So it takes a little while, this stitch, but it does look good at the end. So you can see we've got the little blocks of colour coming through the stitches, and it's just that makes this stitch so nice. Okay. So I'm going to carry on with that. Just double crochet, single crochet, front loop then back loop, all the way across the row. And I shall see you when I get to the end of the row. Okay, so I'm at the last 2 stitches for row 3. So your second to last stitch will be a double crochet made in that front loop 2 rows below, and then your final stitch will be a single crochet through both loops. Okay, and then we turn and we begin row 4. So carrying on with the same colour, and you're going to single crochet through both loops in that first stitch. Okay, so for row 4 it's a repeat of row 2. So we're going to single crochet in the front loop only in every stitch across. So it's in every stitch apart from your very first stitch and your very last stitch of the row. Every other stitch in between is single crochet in the front loop only. Oops, I picked up something I shouldn't there. There we go. So just in the front loops of every stitch. Okay, so I'm going to carry on for the rest of the row, and I shall come back in a moment. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 4, and your last single crochet is through both loops, and at the end of this row I'm going to change colours again. So I'll just bring this in and pull through those 2 loops and turn, chain 1. Okay, so this is row 5. So every colour change is for 2 rows. So once you've done your 2 rows of that colour, you can cut off. Okay. So row 5, you're going to single crochet in your first stitch through both loops. Okay, so your next stitch is a single crochet in the back loop. So we want to stagger our stitches from row 3. So row 3 you started with your second stitch was a double crochet. In row 5 it's a single crochet. Your next stitch is a double crochet in the front loop only, 2 rows below, and there, that brings that stitch right in the middle of the double crochet from row 3. So the next stitch is a single crochet in the back loop only, and then double crochet in the front loops of that stitch in between those 2 double crochet 2 rows below. Okay, you'll get this nice staggered effect. So row 5 you carry on, exact same pattern, so it's single crochet in the back loop only. Then your next stitch is a double crochet in the front loop only, 2 rows below. And you carry on that pattern all the way across the row. And then you finish with single crochet in both loops. Okay. So the rest of this piece is a repeat of rows 2 to 5. Okay, so you can have 14 rows in total. You can do this in a single colour, it will still work well in a single colour or fewer colour changes. But I'm changing colours after every 2 rows for this. And just repeat rows 2 to 5 until you have 14 rows. Okay, so I'm going to carry on until I finish the piece, and I shall come back and show you what we're doing for the slip stitch border. Okay, so I finished my drop stitch piece. You can see I've got 7 lovely colours all intermingling. If you turn to the back you can see how plain stripes it will be, but I think it looks absolutely brilliant that we can stagger those colours together. It's an absolutely lovely look. So you have 14 rows in total, and you've got 79 stitches in each row. So for your slip stitch border you go up to a 4mm hook, and you're going to single slip stitch into every stitch on the long sides. So you'll have 79 slip stitches. On the short ends you're going to slip stitch into each row. So you'll have 14 slip stitches. And then you can cut off, weave in your ends and join it to your previous pieces. So I hope you enjoy the drop stitch, and I shall see you next time for week 17. Bye for now.